Hi, everybody. Welcome to Friday. What is it? May 4th. Tomorrow.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to
Hang
Friday.
on a second. Let me get rid of that.
What is it? May 4th. Tomorrow. Hi, everybody. Welcome to
Hang
Friday.
on a second. Let me get rid of that.
What is it? May 4th. Tomorrow. Hi.
Man, that is really weird. Okay. I don't know what happened. Does it sound okay? Let me go back and check and see if anybody's live can tell me if everything's working correctly here. Hi, Steven. Do I sound okay? Is everything working? Do you know? Hi, Steven. Do I sound okay? Is everything working? Do you know?
Hi, Steven. Do I sound okay? Is everything working? Do you know?
Okay. Looks like it is. Okay, here we are on another 24/7 live broadcast for the Billion Coin. It's a cryptocurrency that has been out for 2 years. I got involved about a year ago, which was right after their first year anniversary. And we've just passed the second year anniversary, March 21st. And we are migrating over from the old blockchain platform 1.0, which is what most all the coins are still on. Bitcoin is still on it. Okay, it's the original one that Satoshi Nakamoto came up with. And we have built over the last 6 months or even longer, 8 months, we have built a system that has got the latest technology, because it has been 8 years since, well, almost 9 years since Bitcoin came out on that original blockchain. So there is better technology. And when we ran into slow transaction time, which Bitcoin did a couple of times in their history, they certainly did last year, we knew that we had to do something, okay? And not only that, but we're set up differently than most normal cryptocurrencies. If you notice, most normal cryptocurrencies are on a market now where they can be traded, right? So now they can be manipulated by the wealthy, who can come in and buy as much as they want, okay? And there's nothing anybody can do about it, because it's completely decentralized. Cryptocurrency is completely decentralized. So nobody has control over it except the independent miners, and they would have to all get together all over the world and decide to do something different. And so what basically they do is, when the system gets bogged down, they fork and they create another coin. Now they're running into trouble again. something's going to happen on August 1st this year. Not sure what they're going to do, but anyway, the rich can come in on when you've got a coin on the market exchange and buy it up and raise the price up and bring everybody else in because they want to make a little bit of money on their investment. So they buy some, they see it go up, and then they sell for a profit. Okay, if they know what they're doing. Now, a lot of people don't know what they're doing, so they get in at the wrong time, and then the wealthy hit a point where they decide to dump and sell. So they sell all their coins, drops the price way down. So a lot of people get hurt, lose their money. It's just like the stock market, okay? And then the wealthy buy up those coins at a real low price. And then they start to build it up again. But every time they do that, they buy more of the coins that the people who lost their coins had and sold it back into the system, and the wealthy pick those coins up. And so their whole objective is to gain control of a cryptocurrency by owning it all. Okay, it's no different than what they've done over the centuries in their wealth collection and confiscation and stealing the gold and silver from the people of the world. Okay, they've done as much as they can, and we've seen it here in America, starting in 1913, and slowly but surely over the decades under certain presidents, we lost gold. We lost our gold as people, and they took the gold off of the monetary system. The U.S. dollar, which was really, after 1913, it was a Federal Reserve note. It belonged to them, the Federal Reserve. It's a private bank, and they make the money now. Okay, so we were betrayed, and in 1971, well, you saw in the 60s, they took the silver away from the coins, and even the bills, silver certificates they call them. And then in 71, Nixon took us off the gold standard, and they put us on the petrodollar, right? And we saw a little bit of a transition. They told us there was no gasoline, so we ended up in long lines at the gas stations for a while, but we made it through that period. And then lots of fantastic things happened because they weren't really that fantastic, but we sure thought they were. That system, the central banking system, came out with a plastic card called MasterCharge, and they said, hey guys, we're going to give you this card. It's like an instant loan. You can go anywhere, buy anything you want on a loan with this card. Just use it at the cash register like cash. And we'll keep tabs on it electronically. And you can make us a payment every month. You know, you don't have to pay the whole thing off if you don't want to. In fact, please don't. Because they charge interest. So they just found another way to rip Americans off. And we fell for it because, you know, what are we going to do? We see something, we want it right now, even if we don't have money, but we got this little plastic card and we're going to buy it, right? So the 70s and 80s were real fun. And then the 90s, it hit us, okay? And then, of course, in 2008, we had this massive, we've had little recessions, but we've had this massive recession that hit us in 2008, and we're still not out of it. Even though the corporate media and the central banking system and those they have controlled in the governments will keep telling us, oh yeah, everything's great. Everything's fantastic. In fact, things look so good that you don't have anything to worry about for the next 10 years. Till 2028. At least, man, we're doing great. Meanwhile, it's a complete lie. Anybody who pays attention to the statistics, the numbers, the facts, knows that nothing's changed. In fact, things have gotten worse. The bubble has to burst again on homes and mortgages. The banks are maxed out. Wells Fargo is just, I think they're 81 billion in mortgages lent out. That's not ever going to come back to them. I mean, they're like 50 billion more than the next bank. So it's just ridiculous. And we're going to have another recession, maybe even a depression. The system's got to crash. Now, of course, the central banking system, their method has always been to keep countries that they lend money to on the brink of crashing, of economic disaster. But they don't want the countries to default, because then the countries would point their fingers at the central banking system and say, hey, what happened? You were supposed to take care of us. We're using this money, these Federal Reserve notes, these US dollars, this supposed, reserve currency of the world, which, by the way, it's no longer. What does that tell you? Yeah, the US dollar is no longer the reserve system in the world, monetary system in the world. Okay, for the first time in decades. And it's because it's just not working out anymore. The deflation of the dollar, of that note, the inflation, everything that goes along with it is just reached this point where they can't keep it going. They're going to try and do everything they can to keep it going. And you can see what they're doing now. They're trying to get rid of cash, actual cash, okay, so that they can keep track of absolutely everything you do, okay? And that article just came out like 2 days ago. Okay, and they're scared to death, of course, of cryptocurrency, because there's no control over cryptocurrency. It's on an open source encrypted blockchain. Okay, they don't have access to it. They're in the hands of independent miners all over the world. They'd have to shut the electricity down in the entire world in order to get rid of the blockchain and cryptocurrency. And that's not going to happen. So, but they'll make you think maybe it could happen. Okay. So they'll do anything to scare you into not getting into cryptocurrency. They'll do anything they can to scare you not to buy gold. Yet, meanwhile, they've got it all. Not all of it, obviously. Countries have plenty of gold and have been repatriating their gold for months now because they can see the writing on the wall. But the central banking system has a humongous amount of gold, silver, diamonds, anything that's a resource, an asset. They have wanted to control it, right down to water and food. If they can control everything, they can control the people in every way possible. Just common sense. The history of the world. You learn enough just going to school to see that, well, why is it different in Africa than it is in America? Why are these people living out there in huts and walking around, half naked and with spears? And it's 1995. Well, there's lots of reasons for it, but the problem is now you've seen what's going on with the wars in these countries, the inhumane things that are going on and have gone on, the disease. All of this is caused by the central banking systems coming into those countries and taking over and stripping those countries of their resources and dumping the crap, leaving the crap behind for the people to get sick on, leaving wars, which they make money on, the central banking system, leaving chaos, creating terrorism. Common sense. That's how you control people. You don't believe in coincidences. There's no such thing. Okay. It's just like the latest thing today, yesterday. For you guys that are American, we have a part of the country that hates our president and wants to see him out. And I don't understand it. These people are sick. Just pure ignorant, or they're just pure full of hate. Okay. And Rudy Giuliani used to be the mayor of New York, right? He was a prosecutor. He was always a prosecutor. Trump brought him into his team recently when everybody thought, well, he should be bringing in a defense lawyer. FBI is going after him, Michael Cohen, and all this stuff. Mueller and all that team. See, Mueller can't find, and there is absolutely no collusion with Russia during the 2016 electoral campaign and process. There's none. So Mueller doesn't have anything to do. So they're breaking laws and doing this stuff. And meanwhile, Trump is fully aware of everything they're doing, and he stays 1 or 2 steps ahead of them. And he brought in Giuliani, and they had him on Sean Hannity last night. Was it last night or the night before? Giuliani explains, and Hannity explains what's going on and how ridiculous the whole thing is. I mean, Giuliani came right out on the show and said, I'm sorry, Hillary, but you're a criminal. When have we ever heard that from somebody in a position like Rudy Giuliani since Trump has taken over? This is the first we've actually heard somebody actually come out of that stature and say that. Okay? The evidence is there. We've got it. Trump's okay. He's just playing a game. Rudy's playing a game. This is what they do to keep the deep state thinking this or that, thinking, oh, we're making Trump weak. We're putting him in a weak position now, blah, blah, blah. This thing or that thing. Stormy Daniels, whatever they can come up with, right? None of it is against the law. Nothing that Trump has done has been against the law or illegal. Okay, so this is how they work. And fortunately today, and I've talked about this before, we are in a part of history where we have technology like it's never been around before. And I've talked about how that's always been that way. Throughout my lifetime, we've seen so many changes and so many improvements in technology, and people see it or they don't. I mentioned Microsoft, and when they came out and they went public, most people didn't see the opportunity. But those that did are multimillionaires. It's like when, you remember Beta came out, that was a taping system where you can have a little machine in front of your TV and it would tape a show. It was like, those tapes were just like this big, Beta tapes. Okay, and then eventually, and Sony was the one that came out with it. Okay, and then eventually companies came out with VHS tapes, which were about this big. Okay, they were bigger. But everything was going over to VHS. The players started to be built. People started to buy them. People loved, for some reason, they just loved VHS tapes. And Sony said, well, that's crazy. Why would people want to go to a bigger tape system? You know, we're not going there. No, we'll show those people they're crazy. Those companies, they're crazy. We're sticking with Beta. Well, they stuck with Beta until they almost went out of business. Okay. And finally they said, oh my God. And was switched over to creating VHS and machines and all that. But that's just the way that it is with technology. Some people see it, some people don't. And we are at a point here in our history of the billion coin cryptocurrency, which pieces of the coin are called kringles. Like pieces of Bitcoin are called Satoshi, named after the creator, Satoshi Nakamoto, who stepped away from the entire system in 2011 in order to give confidence to the miners and all the other people involved and the owners of the coin that he wasn't going to change anything to ruin it for them. Very, very smart guy to do that. Okay. But unfortunately, somebody came along and put it on a trading market exchange, and that basically, it helped in one way. The coin got popular. The coin increased in price over time and will continue. It's helped that, but it's also damaged it because now the price goes down, up and down, because it's on a market. so that value can be manipulated, which does not give confidence to people accepting it, like merchants, retailers, stores, service providers. Okay, yeah, you want to give me you want to pay me in Bitcoin? Well, geez, what if it goes down tomorrow? You know, and I've got to turn around and buy some more inventory to sell. I'm going to lose money. But those who can afford to just take it from people and store it and watch it go up year after year, that they'll be okay, as long as they had enough cash, right? Or whatever's, you know, they're using. Well, that's what they're using now, is the fiat system. As long as they got plenty of that, they can accept Bitcoin, because they know, they've learned that there's intrinsic value in it, okay, because of the proof of work and the fact that there's only 21 million coins going to be made. But with the billion coin, we call it the billion coin because we designed it to have 1 billion coins. No more, but plenty enough to eliminate poverty worldwide, financial poverty worldwide. Okay, so, I mean, what's the point of coming out with a coin unless you can use it everywhere in the world and bring abundance back to the world? Well, not back, it's always been there, right? It's just been hidden from us by the central banking system. Those in control who come out and say, there's not enough, there's not enough. You know, there's very little to go around. So you just have to, you know, deal with that. If you're lucky, maybe you'll become a millionaire or a billionaire, but most of you are going to be our sheep and we're going to be the shepherd, and you're going to basically just do what we tell you to do. And that's the way it's been. And the system is about to go down, and Trump and patriots are going to have to crash it completely. Not just bring it to the edge, which is what the central banking system wants to do, as always, and then bail everything out, right? Just make a bunch of money and bail everybody out. And then we'll go through another period, and well, they can't do it anymore. It's to that point where there's just not enough value in anything. The people are losing their faith in that piece of paper. The only reason that piece of paper is being used right now, not because it's valued by anything, because it's not valued by anything. It's just a piece of paper. It's just digital numbers on a machine, okay? It's just digital numbers that you can look up and see your bank account, and there's some numbers there. And that means you've got that much currency. That's absolutely worthless. There's nothing backing it up that's of value. It's not money. It's gotten to that point where people around the world are saying, this is crazy. We don't want to live like this anymore. We don't want to be slaves to this system. And with the technology that's coming out, we finally see a way to get away from it for the first time in history. Cryptocurrency. First thing we got to do is we got to get our gold back. If we want to get rid of that Federal Reserve note, that US dollar, then we need to have our monies in our country. We need to have our gold, and we need to start using our money and not the US dollar. You see, that's why China is using their yuan to now purchase their oil, and they're the biggest consumer of oil in the world. And they're already purchasing it. If they purchase most of their oil, they purchase from Saudi Arabia. And Saudi Arabia accepts yuan this time instead of the US dollar. That's it for the US dollar. Okay, that's it. All that Chinese US dollars coming back here to America. What do you think that's going to do? Russia's already kicked the deep state out of their country. That's why the deep state and central banking system, corporate media, all of them hate Russia and make them out to look like enemies, which I just don't understand. How they can take another Christian country that's not even communist anymore and make them out as if they're some kind of horrible enemies to America, when we've never even been to war with that country, not even when it was communist, called the Soviet Union. We were never at war. In fact, they were our allies against Hitler and the Nazis in World War II. In fact, if it wasn't for them, You know, come on. They got to Berlin first. That's the bottom line. But we cleaned up the whole western part of Europe, moving in that direction. And they came after a horrendous battle. Horrendous battle. The people of Russia, it was Russian land right there, St. Petersburg. They got through it. And they fought, and they fought, and they fought. And Germany lost. Okay, but Russia's our enemy now. We've got to have somebody as an enemy, right? We got to start a war with somebody, not we the people, but we, the cabal, the central banking system, right? The deep state that's in all these countries and has been in controlling everything and starting wars and chaos like they do, okay? So Trump comes in and becomes president. He's got this plan. Patriots got this plan. The first thing he does is he takes care of North Korea. This is ridiculous. It's ridiculous, the situation over there. They've never ended the war since they started in 1948. So what do we have to do? We have to get rid of the deep state in North Korea. And then we could go in and make peace. That's exactly what he did. Okay. Meanwhile, of course, the central banking system thought they were going to get a war started. And Russia and China was going to get involved, and we were going to have World War III. Wow, they were looking at mucho bucks. Didn't happen. Okay. So now what? We're in Syria. ISIS is still there, but they're losing ground every day. They have lost so much ground since Trump has taken over that situation. It's not even funny. They're losing more ground since we had a little funny missile attack over there. Okay. They've lost even more ground. Okay. But we have at least 2,000 troops in Syria that we need to get out of there. So we have sent our ships to pick them up. And of course, the central banking system and the deep state are like freaking out. Hey, what? You can't take the troops out. All their puppets, you can't take the troops out. You can't just go in there and just yank the troops out. You'd leave it a mess. No, we wouldn't leave it a mess at all. Because Assad, Russia, Iran, China will just mop up what's left of the ISIS and Al-Qaeda. And any private contractor that belongs to the deep state better not be there when we take our troops. And then you're going to see Iran. In fact, you're already seeing Iran, aren't you, this week? And we've got this thing going with Iran, and watch what happens. The same thing with North Korea. Okay, the Iranians are going to come out and they're going to start threatening Israel with their missiles. They may even threaten the United States. Okay, and we're going to see that whole thing, just like we saw with, the Rocket Man Kim. Okay, and in the background, we're going to be making peace. Okay, we're going to be getting rid of the deep state in Iran. Once the deep state's gone, then peace will come. And that's all we're doing. That's all Trump and Patriots are doing, are making peace around the world, not war. And we're getting rid of the central banking monetary system, which isn't a monetary system. It's just a financial system that gives them control. He's got a portrait of Andrew Jackson, one of the presidents in the beginning of our history of our country, who got rid of the central banking system. In fact, he ran on that. Vote for me and I'll get rid of this and I'll get the country back under our control. And that's how he became president, and he did get rid of the central banking system at that time. Eventually, over the decades, they came back. Okay, I don't know the full story of that, but I do know that they were not in power by the beginning of the 20th century. They were not in control, but they were in full control at that point in London and Europe. And they had a massive structure and they couldn't be stopped. So they got together with a bunch of guys. This is all history. You can find out the Rockefellers, the Morgans, the Warburgs, all of those guys and families got together on a little island off in Georgia called, what's it called? Jekyll Island. That's why this book called The Creature from Jekyll Island. The creature, okay, is the Fed, the Federal Reserve, private banking system. And they created this act, the Federal Reserve Act, and they needed it to get passed. And after Teddy left office, Taft came in, and I've told the story before, but I'll tell it again for those of you who haven't heard it. But Taft ran for 4 years, and they tried to pressure Taft into signing that Federal Reserve Act, and he said, there's no way in hell, even though there's no such thing as hell, there's no way in hell that I'm going to get that. I'm going to pass that. So get out of my face, get out of our country. But they weren't about to. Okay. So anyway, at the end of his 4 years, Taft went up again and ran. And he was a sure shoo-in. American patriots loved him for another 4 years because Woodrow Wilson, who was running against him, wasn't very popular at all. And Woodrow Wilson was the central banking system's man. They needed him in as president. So what were they going to do? They were panicking. So they went back to Teddy Roosevelt and said, Teddy, we'll give you some money. We'll take care of you. But we need you to run against these two to pull enough votes over and away from Taft so Wilson, our man, can get in. And it worked. 3 days after Wilson took office, he signed the Federal Reserve Act and betrayed the American people. Teddy Roosevelt, another traitor. And ever since then, all we've had was paid, bought presidents until John F. Kennedy. Okay? Then after John F. Kennedy, we went right back to paid presidents. Now Reagan, my opinion is he wasn't paid. He wasn't bought off. He might have been partially because he was in the system for a while. He was a politician. But this man was a good man. And he did everything he could to do good for America in the 8 years that he ran. Okay, but they had their man in as vice president, George H.W. Bush. Okay, and the other problem is why he couldn't get rid of the massive central banking structure at that time was the technology wasn't there. The timing wasn't right. So Reagan came and went. And then again, things went on, peachy keen, until Trump came along. Okay, and just like John F. Kennedy, he just barely beat Richard Nixon back in 1960, or whenever it was. Okay, and Nixon was the shoo-in. Everybody thought Nixon was going to be our president. Okay, he certainly did. He was one pissed off individual when he lost to this guy, John F. Kennedy. It just didn't make any sense to him. It was crazy. Okay? Same thing happened with Hillary Clinton and Trump. Everybody thought Hillary, she sure thought that she was going to be our president. But Trump beat her out just like that. Okay? So, you know what happened to John F. Kennedy? Okay, but Lyndon B. Johnson was paid. And then after Lyndon Johnson, Nixon wanted back in. Plain and simple. I'm going to run again. Now Robert Kennedy decided, well, I think I'm going to run for president. No, you're not. No, you're not. Nixon, like, no way. I'm not going through that again. Okay? That's just common sense. This is my opinion. And, you know, a whole lot of research and a whole lot of reading and a whole lot of common sense. Okay, so there's your little history on the cabal and how they've kept their system going and kept themselves in control. And it's obvious when we look around that we are not in control of our financial lives. Okay? When we have 7.5 billion people on the earth and only 2,000 of them are billionaires, there's something very, very wrong. Very, very wrong. But we just been brainwashed into thinking that's how it is. There's only enough for them. There's just not enough for, not everybody could be billionaires. Why? Why can't everybody be billionaires? There is enough. Okay? So now that we're at a history of our coin, 2 years, and we're migrating currently, starting on the 1st of May, we're starting to migrate our 3.1 million members over. Now, comparatively, if you want to think about, okay, you got 3.1 million people using the billion coin, but how many people are using Bitcoin, the first one? Well, guess what? Only 12 million. Why only 12 million after all these years? Because the system is limited, plain and simple. And with only 21 million coins, it's just not enough for Bitcoin to ever get anywhere close to eliminating or enriching or making abundance to the world, eliminating poverty. They can't, no. So our mission from the beginning, our creators designed the coin to be abundance-based. There's plenty enough resources in this world that no one has to starve, no one has to be without clean water, no one has to be living the way they are in any kind of so-called third world country. There doesn't have to be any third world. All countries should be first world. What is this first world, second world, third world crap? Don't get me started. Don't get me started. I have a lot of passion for this. Okay, so that's why when I discovered Bitcoin, well, I heard about it in 2011 and I thought it was crazy. So finally in 2016, it wasn't going away. It wasn't going away, right? So I had to take a look at it and I said, oh, okay, now I understand. Shoot. Okay, so I bought a little bit, whatever I could back in 2016. And, you know, I started to educate myself. And that's when I came across the billion coin on the YouTube video. And I started watching a few of those and I said, wow, that's different. That's different. And then there was a lot of people that were out against it. I said, geez, this coin's really getting a bad rap from all these, you know, trolls that are saying the coin is a scam because it's not on the coin market. And it's not on a trading exchange. I go, but I'm reading why they don't want to be on a trading exchange, and that makes pure sense to me. That makes way more sense to me. So I just kept searching and realized that it was the real deal and got involved. A year after it had already been out, that's when I got involved. We were only at 100,000 members, users, owners of the coin, or pieces of the coin. And our value is based on membership. Every person that joins our community and has a little kringle raises the value of our coin, used to raise the value of our coin by 1 full euro. So if you had 10,000 members, our coin went up to 10,000 euros per coin. So it blew past Bitcoin a long time ago. When I got involved, it was already like just below 100,000. So it was like $97,500, 1,000 euros per coin. So, you know, how many people could buy a full coin at that point? We should have just started calling it the Kringle coin at that time, but we still call it the billion coin. But people were just purchasing Kringles. And we started giving it away. The admin started giving it away. Okay? Because he knew, and this was all planned, he knew at a certain point he'd start doing this. Okay? And you're thinking, well, the billion coin is not on the trading exchange, so it must be a scam. Well, if it was a scam, first of all, admin would be accepting money and buying or selling coin. The guys who created it, who we call admin, in fact, he calls himself Chris Kringle because he's now Santa Claus. He's giving the gift out. And that's how we got the name Kringle for our division of one coin, which can be divided 100 million times. Right? So where was I going? I always do this. Oh, he knew at that time to give it out because it is based on membership. So everybody that has it, whether they buy some from another member, not from admin, but another member who's got enough that they'll sell you some, or admin says, I'm just going to create a system of promotion where we're going to give it out to everybody who wants it. We're going to give out a certain amount now, then we'll lower it, then we'll lower it, then we'll lower it as the value continues to increase and members come in. So that is what we went through in 2017. And we grew from 100,000 members to just below 3 million on March 21st. So a week later, we were at 3 million. Okay, so that was 30 times growth during a horrendous year because the blockchain got so backloaded with transactions just doing peer-to-peer because we were not in a trading exchange. Then you wonder why Bitcoin got in so much trouble, because every time a trade is made, that's a transaction that they've got to deal with. We didn't have that problem, but we as a community, being a real community, we had a whole lot more motivation to get that coin into use. We had a lot more reason to use it as money. So we were doing a massive amount of peer-to-peer transactions between our community. Okay. And system got bogged down. So in the background, they were building 2.0. And now it's as fast as, okay, right there at the register. Boom, boom, you're gone. It just takes seconds, right? That's the way our new blockchain platform is. And we're migrating over to it now. We're going to give us 90 days to migrate to 3.1 million people over. And then and during that time, we need to tell people that this is where we're at. And you're going to see us blow right past Bitcoin. We're going to become a household name in spite of not being on a trading exchange, because people are going to start figuring out, and they have, what an abundance-based coin is, like ours. We're the only cryptocurrency that's an abundance-based coin. But we have gotten to the point now where there's another massive company, very, very successful. It's been out since 2013, and 200 million members using their free chat system last month. Yeah, I'm talking about Telegram. Okay, it's completely private. A third party can't see what you're chatting about. Not even Telegram itself can see what you're chatting about. Okay, that's what the attraction is. And the guy who runs it is smart. He's as smart as they get. And he realized, okay, now I can come out with a coin. I've got 200 million members chatting on my Telegram platform. Now I'm going to come out in a coin, and guess what? I'm not going to put it on the trading exchange, because investors now know what an abundance-based coin is because of us. They know also, and they have confidence in this guy. They know who he is. Unlike our anonymous creator, who remains anonymous, just like Satoshi Nakamoto, who just probably made up that name, has completely remained anonymous. And there's reasons why. So, but they know this guy, they know his company, they know his record, and he's going to come out with that coin in April of 2019, and it's going to be based on an algorithm like ours, but instead of people, every person that joins raising the price up, with him, it's every person that makes a purchase. He raises the price of this coin by just a little fraction. So the next person has to buy it at a little bit higher price. It's no big deal because it just goes up by a fraction every time. The point is the coin goes up in value every day, or will, and it never goes down. it can never go down. Okay? So that's why he's collected $1.7 billion in just a few months with his ICO, because people in the know. So not only should you take a look at TON, I believe is what they call. TON is what they call it. I guess it's ton, but I'm sure T stands for Telegram. I don't know what the OM stands for. The ON stands for. I think N stands for network. But anyway, you're going to have to work and you're going to have to research if you want to get involved with that coin now. But and I don't know how their ICO is working. Okay, I do know how ours worked. Since we wanted partial control so that we can distribute our wealth out evenly and not allow the rich to come in and buy it all up and leave scraps for the rest. That wasn't the point of creating the billion coin. From the very beginning, the only reason the creators created it was because they were completely unselfish. They absolutely believed in abundance. They knew, and they wanted to get rid of it. And they wanted to bring abundance to the entire world and eliminate poverty worldwide. So they couldn't just throw a coin out there and let the same thing happen that has happened to all the cryptocurrencies. So they had to keep a little bit of control. Now, the blockchain is completely decentralized, okay? It's completely private, but the wallet system, we have some control over it. And by doing that, we can, or they can, we can't, but whoever the creators are, wherever they are, can control the distribution of wealth through promos. No matter how expensive the billion coin gets, which right now with 3.1 million, it would be worth 3.1 million euros. The thing is, we just got a pay raise because we've got to get off the fiat system. The fiat system is the euro. The fiat system is the US dollar, right? The US dollar is a little bit more, how do you say that? The euro is worth more, so it takes less euro to buy something. It takes more US dollar to buy something. The same thing. Okay, so I think it's like a euro, $1, 1 euro is probably worth like $1.40 US dollars. Okay, don't, hold me to that. But we had to get off that system. Just didn't make any sense, because the whole point of this is to create our own currency, our own monetary system. I know we're not out there to sell you our coin for your fiat cash. That's worthless. I mean, we have to now. We have to give it some kind of value. And as long as the people still have that faith in that paper money, and that's the system that we're on, still, even though you're seeing the world transition, then we have to accept something, okay? But the point is, we had to revalue our coin over to gold. It didn't make any sense to do anything else. So now our coin is based on the value of gold, the current value of gold. So what we did was, instead of 1 euro going up in value per one person that comes into our community, it's 1 grain of gold. Grain is the smallest value of gold, or measurement of gold, that there is. It takes like 480 grains of gold to make 1 troy ounce of gold. Okay, so a grain of gold on today's gold price is worth 2.2 or 2.3 euros instead of 1. So our price just doubled. So instead of our price being 3.1 million euros per coin right now, it went up to about 7 million euros. So that's the cost of our coin now, based on the price of gold. And so when we get to our first billion members, and that's why we're handing it out, that's the whole point. Get it out into people's hands so we can use it as money. And get that price up to the maximum price. It'll never be worth more than what it's going to be worth in grains of gold at that time. So under the euro system, it would have been worth maximum 1 billion euros. US dollars, it would have been close to, I don't know, 1.6, 1.7 by then, billion dollars. Okay, but now it's based on grains of gold, so now it will be worth around 7. Well, let's see. No, 2.2. Like today's price for gold compared to the euro, it would be 2.2 billion instead of 1 billion. Does that make sense? Because that's the price, and the gold is worth more than 1 euro. It's worth 2.2 euros. Okay, so our maximum price will be 2.2 billion. It will never go higher than that. We will never make another coin after we made $1 billion. In fact, we've already made $1 billion. And the transition is really easy the migration that we're going through is easy to understand because we started out with 1 billion coins and we just started to grow. Okay, we started out with only 100 people. We call them stakeholders that were allowed to come in and purchase only a certain amount of coins at dirt cheap. And we vetted those people. We knew exactly who they were, what kind of people they are. And then we went from there. Okay. And at the end of the first year, we were at a little less than 100,000 people. And all during these times, you know, we had promotions, we had this and then we had that to spread the wealth out evenly among all billion of our first billion members. Okay. Right now, our distribution phase is in the phase of creating 1 million billionaires. Remember I said earlier that there's only 2,047 billionaires in the world today. It's pathetic. Okay. Right now, we want 1 million people, which is nothing, to have at least one full coin that will top out, max out at a price of $2.2 billion each. That will make you a multi-billionaire if you have one coin. But how can you buy one coin when it's worth $7 million right now? Because we'll give it to you. Okay? We're not into business of taking your fiat money. We don't want it. We don't need it. We're getting off that system, right? So, but we got to charge you something. Okay, so he's got a cookie reward program going on right now. We've always got promos. We're going to have more promos in the coming months to make it more easier and simpler for people to grab a hold of that coin, because that's how we base the price of our coin. That's how we create an economy. We're only at 3.1 million, but if we grow 30 times like we did last year, in the next 12 months, we'll be at close to 100 million, right? I mean, especially with this new 2.0 blockchain platform that can be used anywhere, just like that. At the same time, just like MasterCard and Visa, everywhere in the world, just like that. There's not a single cryptocurrency out there that can do that or even come close to matching that. There will be, okay? Technology is there. But if they don't get off of that trading exchange and they don't start acting like Telegram and the owner of Telegram, seeing the real picture here, then they're just going to be limited. There'll be an option to protect your wealth. Cryptocurrencies will be an option because if you hang on to it, it will go up in value every year. It will be worth more than it was a year before simply because of supply and demand, right? So don't fool with it on a trading exchange because the price is going to go up and down, up and down. Don't worry about the price. You know, just keep it. That's an option to protect your wealth. And it's just like gold or silver. You need some kind of real money to protect your wealth, which is right now based on fiat currency, which is worth nothing. I don't care if you've got $200,000 from the sale of a home 10 years ago, still in the bank collecting interest. If that bank closes, you're not going to have access to that money. If they shut down and have a holiday and say, hey, folks, sorry, you know, just like they did in Greece, nobody could get their money. They weren't even giving anything out in their ATM machines. If that were to happen again, they probably would give us something. You know, we'll give you $200 a week at the ATM, but The rest of that money, we need it. We need your money to fix our system. So we're going to take your $200,000 and we're going to write you an IOU, and we'll pay you back. Okay. So, unfortunately, that's not going to happen. We're not going to let that happen. Okay. There will be a transition when the system collapses and we move over into our new monetary system, which the only thing that makes sense to us is they're going to back it by gold again. So when Trump and Patriots come back out with their monetary system, it'd be backed by gold. If the cabal, if the central banking systems were to win the narrative and blame everything on Trump and the Patriots, and they were to hang on to their control, they would have to go back to the gold too, because they've lost the confidence of the entire world. But you know what? The entire world's doesn't trust them anymore. They've woken up enough that they don't trust the central banking systems. They just don't trust them. There's enough people awake right now and enough technology that now they can do something about it. No, we don't need your supposed gold-backed Federal Reserve note. We've got our own gold in our own country. We've got cryptocurrency we can create. We'll do just fine. Okay, but just keep in mind that the central banking system has been in power a long, long time. Their structure is massive. They're dug in. And they won't go down without a fight, a massive fight. And keep in mind, they don't care about humanity whatsoever. In fact, they would love to reduce the population. They don't care about humanity. Humanity is just a bug that they want to step on. We're nothing to them. They're extremely, extremely evil people. And that's what happens when you have the wealth in the hands of a few and they're rotten eggs. Okay, it corrupts. But when you have everyone wealthy, then that changes the whole picture, doesn't it? You know, seriously, have you ever wondered, have you ever looked at a car that you want that costs $300,000? You know, a really super awesome luxury car or a super awesome sports car, like a Lamborghini or a Ferrari or something. And you say to yourself, why are they making those cars when they're only selling a few of them to the rich? Because only the few rich can buy those cars and drive around and look, you know, hot. Why is it we can't? Why isn't there enough material to build those cars and sell them for $30,000 so we can all enjoy the technology that these cars have, the luxury that these cars have? I mean, has that ever crossed your mind? It certainly has crossed mine. I just went along with the belief that there just wasn't enough material. How stupid was that? But that's what we were brainwashed into thinking. It's not for you, it's for us. And if you want to come and join our club, okay, you got to do this and do that, and we got to do what we tell you to do. Okay, but guess what? You'll be in our club. You'll be able to afford all these cars. Okay, you'll be in our system. Okay, and guess what? It's BS. It's a complete lie. There's enough material, enough resources that everybody in the world can own the most expensive car right now. They can own it. They can have it. They can have anything they want. There's that much resource in the world. Don't let anybody anymore tell you that there's scarcity in the world and you need to have and hang on to that scarcity mindset, because it is an illusion that they create to keep you down and control you and enslave you. Okay? We don't feel like slaves sometimes, right? We're free. We can go out right now and get in our cars, you know, our Hyundais, and we can go drive down anywhere we want. We want to go to Disneyland, we'll go to Disneyland. If we got the money for the tickets. Okay. And we can go here, we can go there. Nobody's going to stop us. Okay, this isn't Cuba or North Korea. or even China. China's like half and half. They're half capitalist and half communist. They're coming around, right? We got our McDonald's, we got businesses in China, we got everything, just like in Russia. But Russia's our enemy. China's our enemy. Well, I can see China maybe being our enemy because they're not really considered a Christian nation by any means. They're Buddhist, but and they're basically their government's still communist, right? But anyway, they're not our enemy. Okay, China doesn't want anything to do with any kind of a war. Okay, but they'll stand up for themselves. They'll take what they can, and they'll threaten, whatever. But it's all a big illusion. It's all part of the deep state, which China is getting rid of. They're getting rid of the U.S. dollar. You can't get rid of the U.S. dollar unless you get rid of the deep state. The elite, the system, okay, that controls the world. But they're losing control everywhere. Everywhere you look, they're losing control. We are winning the battles. We haven't lost a single battle. Now, if you know about wars, and I'm a huge history buff on wars, but I have terrible memory, short-term memory. So I have to go back and read things to keep them in my head. But the point is, I've always been fascinated by war and why we've been involved in war. Why is there war? It goes back to when I was a kid and I just was like, God, why? And because I just didn't understand God at that time. So the thing is, in wars, when one side is starting to win the battles over and over and over again, it just seems to get worse. Each battle gets tougher and it gets harder and it gets worse. We lose more men to the other side. The other side loses more men. Okay? And it gets nastier and nastier. And then all of a sudden, bam, it's over. And someone's won the war. Okay? Those ones who are winning the battles on a consistent basis, it gets tougher for them, but they will win the war. That's what you're seeing with Trump and patriots around the world right now. Okay? And just watch it. Tell me I'm wrong. Watch what's going to happen in Iran. Watch what's going to happen in Syria. Our troops are coming home. We're bringing them out of harm's way. And then we'll let the powers that be continue to mop up. And there'll be peace in Syria. And then Iran is going to follow suit. They got to get rid of that parasite that's in their country. Just like North Korea had to get rid of it. When I think about what's going on in North Korea, I get tears in my eyes sometimes because it's just unbelievable what's going on. I never thought I'd see it in my lifetime. I've always kept my eye on what was going on in North Korea. I always saw the way the people lived and the oppression and the horrors, and couldn't understand. Didn't make any sense until I learned. And when I see what's going on over there, when I saw Kim step over that demilitarized piece of cement into South Korea and shake hands with Moon and then tell him, hey, we're right here. Why don't you step over? Moon says, yeah, I'm sure I will. Well, right now, here we are. So Moon stepped over with Kim back into North Korea. When I saw that, it was unreal. They shook hands again, then they came over with big old smiles on their faces. And then they ended up giving each other a bear hug after they chatted for a while in privacy. Okay. Yeah, I know North Korea's done some real bad things. But that's not what you look at. That's not what you concentrate on. You concentrate on the big picture. Okay? The big picture is peace has been brought to that country and that peninsula. And by the end of this year, that war will be over. That peninsula will become unified. And there'll be no nuclear warheads in that country. There'll be no need for it. But now they're doing the same thing with Iran. So if the same thing happens in Iran, then you know I was telling the truth, right? Okay, just like I'm telling you the truth about the billion coin. Okay? I'm just trying. I'm passionate about the truth. And I'm passionate about freedom. And those are probably my two biggest passions. Actually, you know, gosh, I'm just passionate about a number of things. The Word of God, I can't get enough of that. I can't get enough of music. I'm so passionate about music, it's not even funny. And I'm passionate about a couple other things. But freedom and truth, I don't know. Those are my biggest passions. So that's what drives me to be here every day at 5 o'clock Pacific Daylight Savings Time, and I'm already set for tomorrow. And yeah, I'm only supposed to talk a half hour, but I can't help myself. Okay, and I repeat myself every time because I have to. Because I don't know what video someone's who never has heard about TBC or the Kringle coin is going to come across my video and click on it and watch it and need to know the basics of what the Kringle coin is. So I have to repeat myself every day. It's just like all my news sources. They tend to repeat themselves every day because the same thing with their YouTubes. They don't know when someone's just going to come on for the first time to their channel and watch a video. And they knew that they said it a week or two ago. So they're not going to say it now? Well, then that person's not going to know what's up. You see what I'm saying? So it's just common sense that we need to repeat ourselves every day about the basics of what we are. We need to go through the TBC coin every single day and get those videos out, even if they say the same thing. Okay? And if we could throw in a little here and a little there of other stuff that kind of hopefully will make some sense to somebody out there, then we're going to do that too. And of course, these videos will always stay on our channel, so anybody could watch them at any time. They don't have to be live. In fact, let me go over right now before I end this and see who's live, because I got some amazing people. Look at that. Anthony Daniels, Stephen Cuffey, Diana Gordon, Brian Seaman, and you guys, I can't thank you enough for supporting me and my videos. Okay, I support you guys back 3,000%. I do. If you've got videos out there and you're making videos, I'll go there every single day because I subscribe to you and I click on the bell. So every day in my email, I get a notice. Now, I can't be live most of the time because, you know, we're all at different times and we all have different schedules. But I'll click on and watch your videos, and I'll click on that thumbs up button. Okay, because this helps us all to get more out there and be picked up by searches when people are searching for cryptocurrency or Bitcoin or whatever. You know, on the right side where it gives you suggested videos, that's where your videos will pop up. The more you do them and the more likes you have. So we're in this together. We are a community. And for those of you that haven't joined our community yet, this is the way we work, people. There's nothing unselfish about us. We're not coming from any greed whatsoever, okay? We know what greed is, but we're not greed-based anymore. If we ever were, and, you know, some of us were, but not anymore. Some of us were just in the system where you kind of felt like you had to be greedy. You had to feel like, well, I got to go out and get mine, right? I got to get mine from somebody so I can take care of myself and my family. Kind of like that, you know, but greed is a part of our hardwiring as human beings. It's something that we need to overcome. And its opposite is unselfishness. That's the opposite of selfishness, okay? So I don't know what the opposite of greed is, but I would just say unselfishness. But that's the way our community is. Join us. You won't be disappointed. If anybody's watching this video who has not seen a video like this before, look at the description below of the video on YouTube and click on those links that will give you all the information you want. You can even get your free 25,000 Kringles right now that's worth about $3,000. We're just giving it away to every man, child, woman, everybody. All we need from you is a name and an email address that's real, because we will send you 2 emails to click on a confirmation link. One will confirm your back office. One will confirm your wallet and create the wallet, which will then have your Kringles deposited in that wallet instantly. Okay, so you've got to have a good email address. That's all we need. We don't need to know where you live. We don't need to know who you are. We don't need any tax numbers. We don't need anything. Okay, we're a private community that's creating our own economy. And we're already at 3.1, and we're going to be at 100 million in probably 12 months. In fact, at 100 million, we will have an economy. That's enough people that, believe me, people are going to be accepting it. Merchants will be accepting it. When they go to buy their stuff, those people will be accepting it. 100 million people using one source of monetary system is huge. Okay, and then we'll blow into 1 billion in no time. We only have to double our current size 9 times, and we'll be at 1 billion. Okay, so if each of us gets a free gift, okay, and turns around and gives it to a family member that we love, or a friend that we love and care about, and we just did that 9 times, or if everybody just did that, you know, how fast can that be 1 billion? Very fast. And keep in mind that we'll have enough wealth that we will be able to give the Kringles out. Everyone in the world will own Kringles, and everyone will be abundant. There will be no poverty with our system. Mark my word. Just do a little research, okay? And we can't get everybody, because everybody's not going to believe. It's just like when Bill Gates came out and said, hey, buy my stock. You won't be sorry. He knew it. And of course, some people knew it. And they're now all multimillionaires, right? Where most of us, we heard about it and we just said, Microsoft, what's that? Computers, internet, I don't know anything about that stuff. You know, I'll put my stock in AT&T. I know what AT&T is, right? Well, that's fine. AT&T continued to do good over the years, but it didn't make anybody multimillionaires like Microsoft did. I mean, this is the way technology is. I talked about that. I really don't like this guy, but I mean, I love him. I love everybody, but Warren Buffett, you know, he made his money, his wealth in the stock market, which is just something that hurts people for the most part. And so I don't even want to go into there, because I want to stay happy today. Like I always want to stay happy. But the point is, Warren Buffett, even as smart as he thought he was, and he was a lot smarter than most of us, obviously, when it came to the stock market, he bypassed Amazon. He didn't have faith in Jeff Bezos, I guess. He passed Google, didn't have faith in those owners. I forget their names. And he came out later and said, I made a mistake, man. I blew it when it came to Google and it came to Amazon. I blew it. And now we hear him demonizing cryptocurrency because he's so afraid of it, because he's not involved. He has no control over it. So he's going to come out and say Bitcoin is a scam. Stay away from it. Invest in my company, Berkshire. Invest in us. We'll take care of you. Okay, so we can't have everybody believing in us right now, but we're certainly going to do everything we can at this point, because we've never been at this point in 2 years. Previous to our migration, we were still on that slow system. We can only do so many transactions per second or per minute. Like Bitcoin, you can only do around 10 transactions a second. We can now, on this new 2.0 platform do hundreds of thousands in a minute. Okay. That's a game changer. That's what's going to change. And that's why we're on here doing these live broadcasts and making videos every single day when we could be doing something else. Okay. Because we care. There's nothing greedy about us. Okay. For $100, you can buy $100 worth of Kringles at its current price right now. And as a reward for you doing that, we'll give you a full coin. Why would we do that? Is it a scam? What, do we want your $100 in fiat? No. We don't need it. But it's for you. It's for you. We have control of how we spread out the wealth. We want you to have a full coin. We want you to be a billionaire. We don't want just 2,047 billionaires in the world. We want 1 million billionaires in the world. How are we going to do that if we have no control over our system whatsoever? And the rich can come along, those 2,000 billionaires, and buy it all up. What would be the point of our coin? That's why we're giving it away. $100. When have you ever had or seen in your lifetime that kind of leverage where you can take $100, which is a night out on the town with your kids, to the movies, popcorn, drinks, whatever, or a restaurant? Okay, you got enough kids, you might spend $100 at McDonald's, right? I'm just being funny. Okay, but the point is, where have you ever seen that kind of leverage? $100 will give you a full coin. Okay. If you spend $200, we'll give you 2 full coins. Spend $1,000, if you got $1,000 laying around doing nothing, and it's worthless anyway, when the crunch comes, you can get 10 coins. 10 coins that will max out within 2 years. That's my opinion. Will max out at $2.2 billion each in real value that you'll be able to use and help yourselves, your family, your friends, if they didn't want to get interested in didn't want to educate themselves in cryptocurrency or the billion coin. Okay, but after we make 1 million billionaires, we're going to make 1 billion millionaires. And I'm talking about multimillionaires. There's just so much value in people. And people are starting to realize that. This world is smaller than it ever was before because of technology. And people are coming together all over the world for one reason. They want abundance in their lives. They believe that there's abundance available. They are tired of being oppressed, killed, maimed, poor, hungry, sick. They're fed up. And these are good people, okay, that are joining our community. Because what bad person is going to want to join a community like us? They're full of greed and hate and evilness. So they're just not even going to bother with something like us in our community. So think about this. It's all common sense. And if you're like us, okay, if you're just basically a decent person and you believe in morals and you have morals and that's how you conduct your life, you conduct it ethically in all your dealings with humans, that's what we want. Come on in. Welcome. Okay? We need you. We need you, and we will reward you very, very well for talking to somebody else about the billion coin and letting them know about it. Why would we not? That's what we're based on. Think about what we're based on and how we work and how we value our coin. It's unlike anything that has to do with selfishness or anything that has to do with, do you got money to throw on the market? You know, do you need to get yours before somebody else gets yours? It's not what we're about. There's no rush, but always, the sooner you get it in, the better things tend to be. You know, we will stop when we get 1 million billionaires, and after that, you'll just be a multimillionaire. Okay, I know this sounds funny, but people, please take a look. And I'll let you guys go. It's Friday night. Go have fun. Okay, the weekend is here, and Cinco de Mayo is tomorrow, so Las Vegas is going to be cranking. In fact, I don't even want to look at the freeway right now because the incoming cars from the Los Angeles, Southern California area is on it's here. It's there right now. You don't want to get on the 15 and try to get somewhere else on the other side of Vegas right now. Okay, so we're going to have a blast and we're going to have fun doing this. It's exciting. You will understand when you get involved because especially if you love people. Okay, if you're a lover of people and you're a lover of all good things, you're going to be thrilled to be a part of this community. This will end up being the greatest community you've ever been a part of. Okay, if you thought religion was awesome, this thing is just as awesome. Okay, and you can just be a part of it. So okay, if you're around tomorrow at 5 o'clock on a Saturday, fine, I'll be here. God willing, I'll be here. And with that, I'll say adios. Have a fantastic Cinco de Mayo tomorrow. And we'll see you tomorrow.